Hello dear students, very good morning. Today we shall discuss about tradition and individual talent, a criticism written by T.S. Eliot. And this is for your paper second, critical theory. We have done Aristotle, Bharata Muni, Wordsworth, etc. Now, this is from the unit 4, tradition and individual talent. This is a criticism written by T.S. Eliot about the poetry. The criticism of the poetry. What is poetry and what the subject of poetry should be? What is a poet and what is a connection between a poem and a poet? What is the relationship between a poet and a poem? So let's see a little introduction. I am not going about the biography of the critic T.S. Eliot, because T.S. Eliot has been a critic as well as a poet and a philosopher and a psychologist, etc. But we will here see a little introduction about the text or about the criticism that we are, or about the essay, the critical essay that we are going to deal with. So this is 1919 critical essay written in 1919, tradition and the individual talent, and it was first published in London, and it published in a literary magazine of which the name was The Egoist. Then it was republished a year later alongside 19 of Eliot's other essays in the 1920, and the name of this collection was The Sacred Wood. So it was republished in 1920, and the collection, the name of the collection in which it published with other essays written by Eliot, the name is The Sacred Wood. It remains one of his best known and most influential essays. So this is one of the best essays written by T.S. Eliot, having contributed heavily on the founding of the new criticism movement. So here we see that T.S. Eliot started a new criticism. Before T.S. Eliot, if you go back, you will find the criticism that of the romantic poets. We have seen Wordsworth, Coleridge, etc. What they said about the poetry or about the poem, you have already come to know. Now this is the new criticism which is started by T.S. Eliot, and it practices upon close reading, and it emphasizes the aesthetic and stylistic elements of poetry. So it gives importance, or it gives emphasis to close reading, because it practices close reading, and then it also emphasizes this aesthetic and stylistic element of the poetry that earlier it was neglected by the romantic critics, rather than the ideological or biographical ones. So not, he means to say that we need not to go to the ideology or the thought or the biography of the poet or the critic, but we should see the writing, we should see the creative work or the art from the aesthetic and stylistic point of view. So in this essay, Tradition and the Individual Talent, he advocates for the separation of art from artist. So this is one of the important things that we will see in this essay, that Eliot recommends, Eliot advocates, favors that the artist should be separated from the art. He means to say that the art is the different thing and the artist, that is the writer, that is the creator, is different. We have to see both the things separately. And then he argues that the tradition has less to do with imitation. So imitation, as we know very well because we have discussed in Aristotle about it too much. So imitation, that is an art. That is imitation of the poetry, imitation of the poems, imitation of the literature that we have. So imitation of the reality, that is the poetry. So it has less to do. Tradition has less to do with imitation and more to do with understanding and expanding upon the intellectual and literary context in which one is writing. So here the importance again to the understanding what the poet has written. We have to understand that. We need not to talk about his birth, about his style, about his biography or the ideology. But we have to see the creative art with our understanding as well as the intellectual and literary context of that art, that creation. We need not to see the tradition. That is what he says. The essay that we are going to deal with is divided into 3 sections, with the first section outlining Eliot's definition of tradition. That is, in the first section we have the definition of tradition. Then in the second we have the relationship between poetry and the poet, what Eliot says about poetry and the poet. And the third, offering a brief conclusion. So here we will find that the Eliot has also given the theory of impersonal poetry, personal and impersonal. We will also discuss about that, and as well as about the tradition, what he says about the tradition, about the history. So let's see what is tradition and individual talent according to Eliot. We will discuss in his essay. So this essay is in fact an attack on certain critical reviews in Romanticism, particularly up on the idea that a poem is primarily an expression of the personality of the poet. So you know very well, dear students, that what Wordsworth has said about the poetry. Wordsworth says that the poetry is a spontaneous overflow of the poet's thought or of the writer's thought which were recollected in the tranquility. So he considers poetry as subjective poetry. That is, the personality of the poet is reflected in his works or in his poems or poetry. That was the view of Wordsworth that we have seen. Even all the romantic poets considers the subjective element in the poetry. That is, it reflects the personality of the poet. The poem reflects the personality of the poet. So here Eliot has attacked upon this idea, upon this perception, upon this belief, views that no, it's not true, he says. So this tradition and the individual talent is in fact an attack on romantic criticism. He argues that a great poem always asserts and that the poet must develop a sense of the past. So he says that a great poem always asserts and therefore this is the poem which can be great. It is the essence, it is the theme of the poem which can make it great, not the poet. The poet is not great. So that the poet must develop a sense of the pastness of the past. So he must develop a kind of sense that is the pastness of the past. Let's see. There is great importance of tradition in the present poem. Tradition should not be inherited but should be obtained by great labor. So the importance that he gives to the past, gives to the tradition, is that he says that it should not be inherited. मानी कहने का मतलब है कि ये हमको उत्तराधिकार में ट्रेडिशन नहीं मिलना चाहिए, बल्कि इस ट्रेडिशन को भी हम बहुत ग्रेट लेबर के साथ में प्राप्त करें. दैट इज, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो पास्ट है उसको हमें ऑल्टर करना है. वी हैव टू चेंज. द पास्ट शुड बी ऑल्टर्ड बाय प्रेजेंट. तो पास्ट को हम प्रेजेंट से ऑल्टर करेंगे. वी विल नॉट blindly follow the tradition or the past, but we have to alter that. We have to go with the past. He agrees that we should also respect the traditions, we should follow the tradition, but making the alteration, making the change with the present, that is important. So the past and the present should be combined, should be mixed, and this will be the new thing before the readers. So as much as the present is directed by the past. तो कहने का मतलब हम केवल जो प्रेजेंट है हमारा वो पास्ट से केवल डायरेक्ट होता रहे, अर्थात पास्ट में ऐसा था तो प्रेजेंट भी ऐसा ही करेगा. नो, Eliot doesn't agree with this argument. He says it's okay that we should take the tradition or the past, but it should be changed, it should be altered with the present. So here I have given you the quotation from the original text, what writer T.S. Eliot says about tradition. That tradition is a matter of much wider significance. So he thinks that it's not a simple thing. It has a great significance. It cannot be inherited. This is what he has said. And if you want it, you must obtain it by a great labor. So this historical sense, so we are learning from the history. We are learning from the tradition. We are learning from the past. He agrees. But we should not inherit it. कि ऐसे कैसे हम उसको inherit करें था उसी को follow करते जाएं. No. He says this historical sense, which is a sense of the timeless as well as of the temporal, and of the timeless and of the temporal together. So timeless because the past is again timeless, as well as it is temporal. So हमें इसको दोनों को मिक्स करना है, टाइमलेस को और टेम्परल जो प्रेजेंट है उस दोनों को मिक्स करना है. And is what makes a writer traditional, and this would call a writer as a traditional. So it is at the same time what makes a writer most acutely conscious of his place in time, of his contemporaneity. That is, a writer has also to be aware about his contemporary period, contemporary time, present time. तो राइटर को केवल पास्ट को फॉलो करते हुए नहीं लिखना है, बल्कि उसको प्रेजेंट को भी देखना है. In fact, tradition acquires a wider significance in Eliot's writing. As we have seen, it involves a historical sense that is really essential for any work of art. And this historical sense involves a perception, not only of the pastness of the past, but also its presentness. तो ये जो हिस्टोरिकल सेंस वो कह रहा है कि एक राइटर को, एक पोइट को क्या होना चाहिए, हिस्टोरिकल सेंस। लेकिन हिस्टोरिकल सेंस में पास्टनेस और पास्ट भी है और प्रेजेंटनेस भी है। ऐसा नहीं है कि ये केवल इनहेरिटेड है, इनहेरिट किया हुआ है, अर्थात जैसा है उसको हमने एज इट इज हम उसी को फॉलो करते जा रहे हैं, होमर ने जैसा लिखा है वो हम भी उसी को फॉलो करें, दैट विल ओनली बी ए गुड वर्क। ऐसा नहीं है। We have to learn from Homer, we have to learn from the past, but we have to add the presentness also. And this sense is called the historical sense. And this sense compels a poet to write not only being near to his generation, but to the whole of literary tradition starting from Homer. तो इससे क्या होगा, हिस्टोरिकल सेंस, एक जो सेंस डेवलप होगा पोइट में, तो उससे वो केवल अपने जनरेशन के बारे में ही जो है नहीं लिखेगा, अर्थात प्रेजेंट के बारे में नहीं लिखेगा, लेकिन वो पास्ट की तरफ भी जो है सारा जो लिटरेरी ट्रेडिशन है उसको भी देखेगा। Thus to write poetry is to write with a consciousness of the timeless and temporal. इसलिए जो पास्ट जो टाइमलेस है, जो टेम्परल है, उसका कॉन्शियसनेस राइटिंग में होना चाहिए, एंड ऑफ द इंटर रिलेशन बिटवीन द टू, और इन दोनों के अंदर इंटर रिलेशनशिप होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि टाइमलेस इज द पास्ट, टेम्परल इज द प्रेजेंट, क्योंकि प्रेजेंट इज नाउ गोइंग टू बी पास्ट, सो इट इज टेम्परल, एंड टाइमलेस जो पास्ट है वो तो टाइमलेस है जो है। इन एनी वर्क द पास्ट शुड बी ऑल्टर्ड बाय द प्रेजेंट, दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड, just as the present is directed by the past. Again we have another quotation from the original criticism. No poet, no artist of any art has his complete meaning alone. His significance, his appreciation is the appreciation of his relation to the dead poets and artists. You cannot value him alone. तो यहाँ जो पोइट कहना चाह रहा है, T.S. Eliot कहना चाह रहा है कि कोई भी पोइट हो, कोई भी आर्टिस्ट हो, किसी भी आर्ट का, अलोन उसका कोई मीनिंग नहीं है। देयर इज नो मीनिंग एट ऑल इफ वी कंसिडर हिम और दैट अलोन और सेपरेटली। द कंप्लीट मीनिंग डज नॉट हैज इन अलोनलीनेस। उसका जो सिग्निफिकेंस है, दैट इज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द डेड पोइट्स एंड द आर्टिस्ट। सो हम उसको अकेले को जो है कि वैल्यू नहीं कर सकते, उसका, उसने जो कुछ लिखा है उसका पास्ट से क्या रिलेशनशिप उसने वो किया है, उस चीज को जो है कि देखना पड़ेगा। इन दिस वे प्रेजेंट अफेक्ट्स द पास्ट एज पास्ट इफेक्ट्स द प्रेजेंट, बिकॉज प्रेजेंट पोइट एडॉप्ट्स द ट्रेडिशन ऑफ पास्ट विद हार्ड लेबर। अब प्रेजेंट जो पोइट है वो पास्ट को बिल्कुल ट्रेडिशन को जो लेगा, लेकिन बहुत हार्ड लेबर के साथ में लेगा। Or a good writer or poet identifies his position in present with a comparison to past writers. Therefore, the combination of temporal and timeless is a whole tradition. तो ट्रेडिशन एक तरह से उसने जो डिफाइन किया है, वो ट्रेडिशन ये डिफाइन किया है कि कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ टेम्परल एंड टाइमलेस, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ प्रेजेंट एंड पास्ट इज ए ट्रेडिशन, एंड दिस इज ए न्यू ट्रेडिशन इन फैक्ट. So the meaning of the poem is not possible in isolation, he means to say. Isolation में हम किसी भी poem का meaning नहीं देख सकते. We have to see the past as well. No poet, no any artist has his complete meaning unless we link him her to a chain of all poets. तो उसके पीछे के poet से जब तक हम उसको नहीं जोड़ेंगे, उसको कंसिडर करेंगे, उसके बारे में थिंक नहीं करेंगे, तब तक हम उसको जो है कि रियलिटी, उसकी कंप्लीट मीनिंग उसका नहीं आएगा। अर्थात कोई भी जो क्रिएटिव वर्क है उसको हमें वी हैव टू कंपेयर विद द पास्ट डेफिनेटली. सो द इम्पोर्टेंस एंड वैल्यू ऑफ एनी पोइट कैन नॉट बी जज्ड इन आइसोलेशन, सो देयर मस्ट बी द ट्रेडिशन टू कंपेयर विद अनदर. तो कंपेयर बहुत जरूरी है, जो पास्ट है, ट्रेडिशन है, उससे हमें उसको कंपेयर करना पड़ेगा. इसलिए Eliot gives emphasis on the combination, and about this we will discuss in our next video, that is the part 2. We will discuss how he explains this combination of past and present.